All right, this is the speech that the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave in 1991. And in it, he's saying that there's two ways of serving God: to appreciate what God gives us from above and to serve God from below. That's called Ani Ladodi. That's serving God from below. We give ourselves up to God. God has given us everything, so we're just showing our appreciation. And Dodi Li means God reacts to what we do. God reacts to what we do, and we have to appreciate that God is reacting. Essentially, that's the idea of Moshiach. Moshiach is God reacting to the 2,000 years of exile that the Jews have been serving him. And of course, when God reacts, it's completely, how do you say, incomparable to what we do, incomparably greater. Okay, so this Shabbat, and all this is given to us. It's all given to us. First of all, it's given to us the knowledge of how valuable God is, the necessity of serving him all the time, and the ability of us doing it all the time. And now we even have a blessing to help us, that we can be aware of the truth all the time. That's what it says, especially when we read on the Shabbat, look, I am putting before you and today a blessing, since that Anochi, I, the essence of God, is actually given into our inside. We just learned in Likkutei Torah, in a way that's set eternally, Hayom, permanently. It says Hayom means all the time. So certainly, this is Lamaila Legamri Mihagbala. This is above anything in the world. We have the ability to be good and connected to the truth constantly, no matter what happens in the world, and to bring this good into everything we do in the world, everything we say, above time, above place, above even all the spiritual levels. It's called Seder Hazman, the order of time. And that's what God is giving us this Shabbat. It's totally above any limitation. Now, because God is giving it to us in an eternal gift, so he gave it to us last year also. So the eternal gift is already here. But it just renews it every single year, brand new. So we're getting this tremendous help from the Creator to be positive, if you want to. I mean, if you don't want to, there's nothing God is going to do to make you positive. There's a story, sorry, not a nice story, but I'll tell you the story anyway. That once a person had being depressed is sort of an addiction, I mean, being depressed itself is a terrible thing, but it gets worse because a person gets depressed and he's at a low ebb of energy, so he becomes very negative, and then that becomes another reason for him to be negative, right? I didn't do anything yesterday, I'm not going to do anything now. And then it's 2 days already, I'm a worthless. Then it's 3 days. It's like being addicted, right? It's like you're just living with past experiences. You want to sort of repeat past experiences. That's what being addicted is. You want to keep repeating experiences of the past to the point where you think that there's no future. Just keep repeating. And as soon as anything future comes, you get scared. You want to just repeat what was in the past, eating or whatever. So it's the same thing with like being depressed. A person wants to. So there's a joke, not a funny joke, but I'll tell the joke anyway. That a person had a father who was an alcoholic, and his father used to, every other night the police called him up, and they found him in the gutters, and it was, he got robbed all the time and beaten, and he had to take it to the hospital. He broke his nose, he knocked his teeth out, everything like that. So the son decided he's going to stop this, put a stop to it. So he gets his father, and he keeps him in the house, and he buys he gets a guard to stand at the door, and he gets professional help to talk to his father and to psychiatrists, and he works on him, and he stays in the house for 1 full year, locks him in the house 1 full year. He hasn't taken a drink 1 full year, no drink, no nothing. And he's clean. He's clean physically, he's clean emotionally, he's clean spiritually, he's clean. And he says, okay, now you've been locked up in the house for a year. Let's go. So they takes his father for a walk. And they're walking. He says, see, father, look, there's the sun, the sky. The birds are chirping. Say hello to people. People say back hello to you. Isn't this wonderful? They're walking on the street and they see a drunkard laying in the gutter in his vomit, clothes all torn, dirty, filthy, filthy. And then his nose is bleeding. He knocked him down. And he says, Daddy, that's how you were a year ago. That's what you were. Look at yourself now. Dressed up clean, standing straight. That's how you were. His father starts looking, inspecting this drunk person. Maybe we can help him, Daddy. His father looks at him and he bends down to the drunkard's ear. And he says, where did you get such good vodka from? Where did you get it from? Right? In other words, deep down, he's still longing for the addiction. It's not the same thing with us. Deep down, we're still longing for the exile. So we have to get out of that whole mindset of, taking the easy way out. Taking the easy way out. Okay. Yeshlo, see if we can add on. And that's what God is helping us. He's giving us to see. He can show us. He can show us. But we have to make the decision on our own, right? And we can see what's right. We can see what's wrong. God is helping us, but we have to just take the effort. And that's what the Rebbe is trying to tell us. That's why he's talking to us. You've given everything. Just take the opportunity and use the blessings that God has given you. Use the blessings that God has given you, right? You're sober. You're healthy. You have a job. You have this. That should go further up, not further down. That's what we can add. That's the connection between Parshas Re'eh and the month of Elul. The service of man, that's Ani Ladodi, in a way that's above any limitation. That's Re'eh. God is giving it to us, and we have to use it. Who Hadgasha, this is by stressing that Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh Elul, and the year of Tafshin Nun Aleph, right? By the Rebbe, Rosh Chodesh was Shabbat. By us, Rosh Chodesh is going to be Tuesday. Hayat Ta'e Shnat Niflot Areno is the first letters of Ta'e Shanat. It will be the year Niflaot of miracles. I will show you. Now this is 33 years ago. And as I've said so many times before, you can look at this two ways. That's, I think, the idea. We talked about it before. We are at the heels of the Mashiach, Ikvus of the Mashiach, the heels of the Mashiach. On one hand, you can look at it two ways. The heels means that's the end. That's it, the lowest of the low. That's it, forget it. Mashiach is not going to come. It's just finished, right? It's just one of the time, all the times that are projected times. We thought it was going to good, but it didn't work out. It didn't work out. So it's the lowest of the low. On the other hand, you can say, no, exactly the opposite. If Mashiach was supposed to come 33 years ago and it didn't come, for sure he's going to come now. For sure, there's no doubt about it. It's not that he took a wrong turn, he got lost, he got a flat tire or something like that, right? And no one's there to fix it. And he gave up. So we can look at it the lowest of the low, the heels, and the highest of the high. The lowest of the low. The heels of the Mashiach means it's the lowest of the low. We've got all the reasons to just give up on Mashiach, and let's just give up. That's the lowest of the low. Come on. If God wants to send, he'll send, but it's not my business anymore. That's the low. Or you can say, no, exactly the opposite. If Mashiach didn't come then, for sure he's going to come now. Any second, we have to work harder. The Rebbe once said in one speech that people say, hey, we've been in exile working hard to bring Mashiach for 2,000 years, and any second Mashiach is going to come, so we're tired. We've been working for 2,000 years, we're tired. Let's go to sleep. Let's rest up. Says the Rebbe, no, exactly the opposite. Now Mashiach is supposed to come, we have to do more. We have to make ourselves vessels. And how do you do that? By doing more, by talking more about Mashiach, by thinking more about Mashiach. So it's the same thing here. Back then it says, this is the year of Niflot Ereno. I will show you miracles. That was 33 years ago. Rebbe said, Mashiach is going to be here. We're going to see big miracles, right? And it didn't happen. So what does that mean? So we can say, listen, this year is even bigger miracles. Our year is Tav Shin Pei Dalid. So we have the Pei Plaot. So we just dropped the nun. It's the same word. Tei Shanat Plaot and Dalid. Put in whatever you want. I'll put in Degulot. Degulot means very, very high, highest of high. Plaot Degulot. Okay, what does it mean? Miracles that are very, I will show you miracles, says. The service of man in a way which is above limitation. La'amitatao, truly above limitation. Ubishlemuto, and completely above limitation. This is only relevant begeula. This is only going to be when Mashiach comes. Like we said before, God will circumcise our heart. We'll be able to see and feel and appreciate how real God is and how much God loves us. Infinitely, infinitely more than we could possibly imagine how important we are. And this feeling of love of God and the reality of God and the goodness of God is only going to be when Mashiach comes. Then God is going to do this amazing thing, and he's going to circumcise not just the remove the foreskin of our heart, but to circumcise our heart. Shenishmato hi bechinas yechida. That's the idea of the Mashiach. Al yedei Mashiach zikenu. Mashiach is a special soul. That's the level of yechida. That's the klolit of Yisrael. That's the Jewish point of the Jewish people. Right? There's a lot of Jewish leaders, very wonderful leaders, very convincing leaders, right? Very, how do you say, charismatic leaders and true leaders, but they can't arouse the essence of what a Jew is. The essence, what's the essence of what a Jew is? The essence of what a Jew is self-sacrifice. So that I am willing on my own to change the world, to not think about myself, to do everything I can, even if it means that I have to get burned at the stake. God forbid, there shouldn't be such a thing. Now you don't have to do that anymore. Now it just means do a little bit more, put the fill on somebody, say another good word, right? That's the yechida, that's the Jewish point of every Jew. Al Yadon, by means of it, Megalit is revealed the yechida pratit. But Mashiach comes, he's going to reveal the individual spark of Mashiach, which is in every single Jew. That's what's called the fifth level of the soul, Darga Chamishit. Shechoderet, that it's not really called a level. It's not really a level of the soul. This is the essence of what truth is. This is what a Jew is. That it permeates every detail of the service of a Jew. And that's the whole idea of Rosh Chodesh Elul, the month of Elul. Now, if you look in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, the Jewish law book, there's a book which is called Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Anyone who's listening to this class and he wants to know a little bit about what you're supposed to do if you're Jewish, what to do, what to do. You have this wonderful feeling, all these philosophical ideas, about being a Jew and this, how we have suffered and how we are devoted to God and we're the sons of God and the servants of God. Okay, but what do we actually do? What do you do from the second you wake up until the moment you go to sleep? What are you supposed to do the whole day? So there's a book which is called Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Kitzur Shulchan Aruch means, you want to call it like this, Judaism for dummies. Not a nice word, dummies. But that's what it means. It's written in English also. It's written, I think, every language in the world where there's Jews. It's written by a fellow called, Shlomo Gansfried, right? Gansfried. 100 years ago, something like that, 100 years ago. He wrote it. He was a Hungarian rabbi, and he wrote this book of all the laws, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And not all of the groups go according to all the laws that he says. Everybody has their own customs and their own ways of looking at things. But if you do only according to what he says, right? You don't look at any other book. You just do it according to what he says. You're doing good, very good. You're doing excellent. That's excellent, right? You want to become the Sephardic way, or according to Belz or Gur, or the Litvische way, or this. Okay, their rabbis will add on and they'll change certain things according to the different. It says there used to be 12 tribes. Each tribe had its own nuances in prayer and learning. The same thing is something like that now. Okay, so it says that's what to do. That's what to do, right? But an interesting thing is, so I'm sorry. That's what it says. So exactly what to do. So in the first letters in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, it talks about the month of Elul, and all of a sudden it starts getting a little bit philosophical over there, right? Usually it's just cut and dry laws, and when it comes to Elul, it says no. The word Elul stands for 4 sentences. The Rebbe brought a 5th sentence. One of them is Ani Ladodi Dodi Li Inu Liyado V'Samti Loch Ish L'Re'ehu Matnot Levyanim. And these 4 sentences, one talks about prayer, one talks about learning Torah, one talks about doing the commandments, one talks about tshuva, repentance to God, right? So all these 4 different ways which are hinted at in Elul, and the Rebbe brought a 5th one also, which is talking about the Geula, the future redemption, Elul. Ashiru Lashem v'yomer lemor. It says the 5th. Okay, this is stressed especially on Shabbat Rosh Chodesh Elul of this year. Why? Because in addition to the fact that we have to wait for Mashiach to come every moment, constantly, that's what Maimonides says. That Mashiach is supposed to come every day. Any day is supposed to come. It's not that I will wait for him every day. That the commandment is to wait for him. The waiting every day is no. Every day is supposed to come. I will wait for him. That every day he's supposed to come. He's supposed to arrive. If the Mashiach doesn't come, we're supposed to be broken, to feel terrible. But you can't bring Mashiach by bringing Mashiach by feeling terrible. So you have to be happy. What can you do? It says you, in addition to the fact that you constantly have to be awaiting Mashiach to come, and the Maimonides even says that a person that doesn't do that is denying the whole Torah, and especially says the Rebbe after Kalu Kol Akitzim that all of the projected times when Mashiach is supposed to come have already passed. So if so, it's already passed. For sure, Mashiach is going to come. He should come any second now. And all the things of service have already finished. We've done everything we can. The Jews have suffered enough, and they've prayed enough, and they've waited enough. So now we're found in a special year, that the letters of this year are a year that we will see miracles. Or let's take it to our year, right? I'm improvising here. It's a year where there will be great miracles. Palaot degulot. I made that up. Palaot degulot. It'll be a year of amazing miracles. Like it says in the prophet, was it Micha? And like the days of going out of Egypt, I will show you miracles. I will show you miracles. We will see. We already saw there were a lot of miracles. And regarding to the gulas, aprat, the aim and the gulas, a gula called aklal. This was in 1991. So already the Iron Curtain fell, and Saddam Hussein declared war on Israel, and he shot these really powerful missiles that had these very powerful warheads on them, and 39 of them, and all of them hit exactly where he wanted them to hit. All of them, and miraculously, all those places, either there was no one there. There was one time he wanted to hit this big oil depository. There were the gas, and the day before there was something wrong with the gas, and they moved all the gas from that place to another place. He says, I'm gonna blow up all of Tel Aviv and everything, and he didn't kill one person. Whole buildings fell down. Buildings fell down with people in them. Apartment houses, 5 stories, fell down, and no one was hurt. No one was hurt. So that was an amazing miracle. And also the Iron Curtain fell. The Iron Curtain just suddenly fell. So it was a year that was like, really amazing. So everybody understood, it was obvious that the Lubavitcher Rebbe is the Moshiach. He had all the criterion, and all these big miracles were happening. And that was it. Everybody was just, excited. All of Chabad, everyone in Chabad right? The Rebbe had a stroke. It didn't affect anybody. They were sure Rebbe's Mashiach for 1.5 years. Everybody said, everyone was sure, right? Any second it's going to happen. And then happened Gibel Tammuz, and unexplainably to me anyway, that everybody sort of, their enthusiasm dampened. And however you want to look at it, the Rebbe said, we have to be excited and enthusiastic and anticipating the Mashiach any moment, said especially in this year when we have seen big miracles, and this is especially to our brothers that are behind the Iron Curtain, that many of them all of a sudden came out. Whether we're talking about they came out physically, that they came out spiritually also. Amazingly, what happened is that as soon as the Iron Curtain fell, so they allowed Chabad to go in to Russia and to educate Jews. And they started making Chabad houses everywhere. Right? There were Chabad houses all of a sudden popped up everywhere in Russia. And Jews that were like 67 years old, they said, wow, I'm Jew, I want to make a circumcision. And they started learning Torah. It was amazing. Until the last days, just recently, the Rebbe is talking about then, in a way that it's a constant. All of a sudden, it said the Rebbe that now even more, there was a Shluchim convention, a convention of Chabad in Russia. In Russia, they made us. It used to be that if more than 3 people got together in Russia, they would put them in jail. They would say it was an anti-communist meeting. You're not allowed to make a meeting unless you have a permission from the from the government. And here they got what it was 100 Chabad Hasidim talking about Judaism in Russia. They made it. I think they made it in Lubavitcher itself. I don't even remember. Shabon Nimsa Ma'ira the Erim of Lubavitch in Russia and Ukraine. The city of Lubavitch. Lubavitch, I think, is in White Russia. Liadi, Lyazne, Rostov, Petersburg, all the cities. Those are the big cities where Chabad was in Petersburg. That's where the previous Rebbe lived. Ubaem or you Chayu, Paul on the Sea of Chabad. That's where the leaders of Chabad were there for many, many generations, and it was under tremendous danger all the time. The Nichnasu, all of a sudden, there's a shluchim, emissaries of the Rebbe in our generation. Who was the Rebbe? The previous Rebbe. The Rebbe always said that he was just a representative of the previous Rebbe. And they gathered together in Moscow, Almanat, in order the Hosif to add with more power in spreading out Judaism, etc. In Moscow, there's a huge Chabad center over there, Rabbi Lazar, and it's on the other side of the street from the KGB offices. And they have 2 KGB policemen that's standing by the door, right? And they're watching people go in, etc., like that. And very friendly and very nice. Hello, hello. By means of this, Atimar, that's what's going to come, the Mashiach, any second. We're going to see it happen. And this year itself, we're on Rosh Chodesh Elul. And Rosh Chodesh Elul is the month of Cheshbon, of making a proper evaluation of the past year. And we make an inventory of the past year. And the conclusion should be, what should be the conclusion? So the Rebbe, I made the reckoning already. I already went over all the things. And what should be the sum total? Ad matai, how long? How long is it going to be? We're talking about this and talking wonderful Mashiach, etc. But Jews are suffering all over the world. Where do we see Mashiach? How can it possibly be? And that we finished the 11 months of the year, Tavshin Nun Aleph, we'll see miracles, and Mashiach has still not come. Mashiach has still not arrived. Now, when we talk about Mashiach, I mean, of course, we can interpret this in a lot of ways. It means Mashiach not coming, but Mashiach has not come and done his work. The idea of the Mashiach is, like the Rambam says, there's steps. Mashiach, first of all, comes and he brings all the Jewish people back to Torah. And then after that, he builds the 3rd temple. He defeats all the enemies of Judaism. And then he builds the 3rd temple. The 3rd temple comes from heaven. And then all the Jews come to the land of Israel. That's the Geula. And in somewhere in this whole business, all the non-Jews, they drop all the religions and they worship only the creator who's creating them. They do the 7 Noahide commandments. It says, but that's the Geula. Says the Rebbe, I don't understand. I've spoken so wonderful. There's all these hints, all these metaphors, all these indications. The Mashiach is here, and we're seeing miracles. The Iron Curtain fell, and we're still in exile. What's going on over here, right? The world is in terrible shape. The Jewish people are suffering. The world is suffering. How can it possibly be? Oloshan, in the language of our Torah portion, Re'eh, see, I have put before you today a blessing. All of the blessings in the beginning, especially the main blessing of the total and complete redemption of the whole entire world, releasing the world from all negative things, Shalom Maspik Shomim, is not enough that we hear and we understand. Behold, Mashiach is coming any second. We have to see it, not just to hear about it, and not just to see it in a way that we will see. We should see Mashiach right now. Why isn't it happening? And this is what we're going to talk about, God willing, more tomorrow. Huh? What's this? Oh no, oh no. Don't tell me. What is this? What's going on here? Oh, yes. Good, good, good. Okay. I thought that I didn't